Speaker, Honourable Prime Minister, Honourable Leader of the Opposition, Honourable Members of Parliament, ladies and gentlemen, to our members of the public listening in. Good morning and Bula Vinaka to you all. Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me to provide an update on Fiji's energy sector, an area that continues to serve as a catalyst for our nation's progressive development. Our energy sector is shaped not only by the growth of our economy, but also by our natural environment, our tropical climate, and of course climate change, and our traditional practices. Mr. Speaker, sir, government has committed to provide sustainable, reliable, and affordable electricity to all Fijians to enhance its effort in ensuring socio-economic development and improving the quality of life. These commitments are clearly communicated and articulated in our national planning documents, such as the National Development Plan 2025 to 2029, Vision 2050, and the National Energy Policy 2023-2030. The principal targets to be attained for the electricity sector are 100% of Fijians to get electricity access by 2029, 2, 100% of electricity generation by 2030 will be through renewable energy, respectively, and 3, 30% reduction of GHG emissions by 2030, whereby 10% will be from energy efficiency initiatives, while 20% is to be from renewable energy electricity generation. On electricity grid investment, so historically from the late 70s, close to $2 billion have been invested in our electricity grid infrastructure, of which $840 million has been for electricity generation through renewable energy. To further increase our renewable energy penetration and modernizing grid infrastructure, an additional investment of around $2 billion will be required. In terms of increasing energy demand, the demand for electricity in Fiji is strongly influenced by developments in the tourism industry, commercial sector, domestic sector, and other productive sectors. In 2024, our electricity mix was 57% renewable, an increase of 2% from 2023. This demand trend is already evident as electricity demand increased by an unprecedented growth to approximately 9% in 2024, which is more than double the growth recorded in 2023. So while a large proportion of our electricity production is generated from hydropower, the broad picture reveals that Fiji's economy remains highly dependent on imported fossil fuels. Our dependency exposes us to significant risks and externalities. The greatest threats to our energy security remain the impacts of climate change, the deterioration of aging infrastructure, volatility in global oil prices, uncertainties in international markets, reliance on fuel imports, limited capacity and access to modern technologies, and the urgent need for grid investment to meet rising demand. Mr. Speaker, sir, considering these challenges, the government has placed energy security and resilience at the core of our national development plans and priorities. To this effect, the government is advancing several key strategic initiatives and developments which will be critical in supporting large-scale clean energy transition projects. These include accelerating renewable energy deployment, strengthening global partnerships and strategic collaboration, enhancing local capacity, creating an enabling environment to encourage private sector investment, improving Fiji's access to climate finance. Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me to highlight a few key projects that the Ministry is currently undertaking or oversighting. The Lakaro project, as I've already mentioned, Lakemba, Kandavu, and Rotuma, rural government stations projects. So the rural government stations was established to provide access to key essential services to the remote and maritime communities. It is essential that these centers and other similar centers are facilitated to be rural growth centers and economic centers for development in their specific areas and provinces. In relation to these LACARO projects, in 2015, the United Arab Emirates provided the financial support for the installation of solar systems in Lakemba, Kandavu, and Rotuma to implement the existing diesel generator or supplement the existing diesel generators at these stations. Under the last government, the stations, however, developed technical issues due to the integration of the solar system and the diesel generator around 2019. Presently, the stations are completely reliant on diesel generators, incurring for the government around $200,000 per annum per site on fuel costs. Additionally, the stations have limited operational hours of only 12 hours per day. At the COP28 meeting in Dubai in 2023, government has signed an agreement with the government of the United Arab Emirates and the government of New Zealand, who is to co-fund the upgrading or enabling of the three stations to resolve the issues from 2019 with the financial support of US $2.5 million. All the technical specifications, tenders, contracts have been signed and work is currently in progress. One of the major components of the upgrading work is the battery energy storage systems, BESS. The BESS will allow smooth integration of the solar PV and diesel generator and stabilize the grid supply. Mr. Speaker, sir, for Vunisia Kandavu, the installation will comprise the 299 kilowatts solar system and 420 kilowatt hour battery storage. Similarly, for Lakemba and Rotuma, the systems will comprise 140 kW solar system and 280 kilowatt hour battery storage each. The completion of these projects will provide 24-hour uninterrupted electric supply and in turn significantly reduce dependence on fossil fuels or diesel. The project is estimated to save government around 45 to 50% in fuel costs per year for the three sites. The project will benefit a substantial number of the population, approximately totaling close to 10,000 across the three islands. The project will be fully completed and operational by April. It's a critical project given that Vunisia in Kandavu has a major hospital, wharfs, schools, homestays, the primary, secondary schools, and etc. And in Lakemba, similarly, hospitals, schools, and various government facilities, and so is for Rotuma. Once these are up and running, it is we as a government envisage the continued growth of these centers into economic centers of development with the support of various sectors of government. Solar Technology and Application Resource Center, or STACI. For this particular project, Fiji was one of the first countries to ratify the International Solar Alliance Framework Agreement, of which Fiji is a member of, the ISA. ISA's mandate is to support member countries to increase uptake of solar technologies to increase renewable energy transition targets. Fiji's solar energy markets face key challenges, including knowledge and skills gaps, financing barriers, limited affordability, quality control of solar equipment and components, and supply chain constraints. Notwithstanding this, the government, together with the Fiji National University and the International Solar Alliance, has signed an agreement to establish the STACI, Solar Technology and Application Resource Center, which will be located at the FNU campus in Samabula. STACI will be funded by ISA for its first 2 years of operation, with allocations of approximately Fiji dollars 296,000 in the first year and 287,000 in the second year. From year 3 onwards, the STACI is expected to become self-sustaining and a fully fledged training center that will provide training tailored for solar researchers, technicians, for communities, designers, and project managers. In addition, the STACI will provide equipment testing, and entrepreneurial support while ensuring all solar equipment in Fiji meets quality control and assurances that complies with local standards and specifications. STARSI expected to be commissioned by the first quarter of 2026. In relation to legislative and regulatory gap analysis for the energy sector, the government has also completed this gap analysis to facilitate a just and inclusive transition for the energy sector with the support of the International Renewable Agency, ARENA. This study responded to Fiji's slow transition to renewable electricity generation and low private sector participation. The study reviewed Fiji's policies, international commitments, and legislation, including the Electricity Act 2017. It generally found that current laws and institutional arrangements do not adequately support renewable energy deployment. The Electricity Act lacks clear provisions that prioritize renewable energy, limits competition and investment, and constrains energy access. As a way forward, the Ministry is undertaking consultations with the various stakeholders regarding this report with the objective of making a submission to Cabinet on the way forward. On the Fiji Rural Electrification Fund established, which is a special purpose vehicle to attract private investment, FREF as we call it, will assist government accelerate its rural electrification initiative through the installation of solar PV diesel hybrid system. There are a total of around 300 communities that are being targeted through this program. FREF has managed to raise funds of approximately $18 million through the funding support of the governments of Australia and New Zealand and the United Kingdom, to name a few, and others are also under discussion and in the pipeline. The Ministry is working with UNDP, GGI, and other key partners to put in a robust implementation framework to roll out the program. So another important initiative is the Fiji Rural Electrification Support Project, a $3 million grant-funded project by the government of Japan. This project will directly benefit approximately 190 households in remote areas by improving access to renewable energy. There are two components. Firstly, the expansion and upgrading of the Buddha Mini hydropower facility from 30 kW to 100 kW, which will provide low-cost, reliable renewable energy to 120 households, benefiting 720 villages or occupants, and replacing diesel generation with clean hydropower. Secondly, the installation of a 100 kW solar PV mini-grid with battery storage in Jiliva village, Kandavu, which will electrify 70 households, benefiting around 350 Fijians who currently face limited or unstable access to electricity. This project is presently at the standard stage, and installation is expected to commence in the first quarter of 2026, with completion towards the end of the year or early 2027. The Petroleum Act is also under review. So energy security and supply is a key priority for our nation's development aspirations. We cannot deny the fact that our small island nation continue to rely on fossil fuels to some extent during our energy transition phase. We need to ensure that our energy legislations are updated and relevant. The Ministry is currently working on the review of the Petroleum Act 1938, which was last amended in 1978 and remains the principal legislation governing Fiji's petroleum sector. Government has engaged a consultant with the assistance of New Zealand, the New Zealand government, to carry out a technical gap analysis of the existing legislation. Findings show that while many local suppliers have voluntarily adopted responsible operating standards, the absence of a clear regulatory mandate leaves Fiji exposed to substandard practices. There is a pressing need to strengthen supplier responsibility across the entire fuel supply chain, improve infrastructure compliance, enhance regulatory oversight, reform institutional arrangements, build capacity, and ensure robust emergency response planning and processes are in place. The Ministry is working with the Asian Development Bank, ADB, to carry out the next phase of the review of the petroleum legislation. Mr. Speaker, sir, I conclude by reiterating that our vision is clear, which is to reduce reliance on imported fossil fuels, to harness the full potential of our renewable resources, and to ensure that every household, whether on our main islands or on other communities, have access to safe, reliable, and affordable energy. The government is determined to keep Fiji on the path of energy security and sustainability for today, the decade ahead, and for generations that follow. Thank you, and may God bless Fiji.